Today's video is going to be very entertaining, and it will also be quite pathetic. Today I'm going to tell you about the story of how I falsely reported another child when I was 12 for sexual assault and how I came to that conclusion. So yes, basically to sum it up, when I was 12 years old, I falsely reported another student, who was my best friend at the time, for SA. Yes, you heard this correctly, and you know what I mean by SA. Now, how did this happen? Well, long story short, I was a very troubled 12-year-old boy. I was very disobedient, I was very violent and aggressive, I skipped school constantly, I made friends with basically the children of the corn. I mean, my life was very messed up. On top of this, I had pretty bad family issues as well. So with this, I often made friends with troubled kids. And I had this one friend, who I'll just name right now, I don't think he'll care. His name is Luca. Now, I haven't seen Luca in 10 years, so I don't really know what became of him. I wish him the best, but that's not what the story's about. I liked Luca back then because he had this swagger to him, where as a 12-year-old he could still do pretty intense things and achieve pretty intense things. For example, he lifted a lot of weights, and we would spend our time together doing bad things like watching the human centipede and lighting things on fire and doing parkour on fast food buildings. I'm not joking, we caused so much trouble. And we frequently had angry parents scream at us, and we got into a lot of conflict. Well, anyway, one day he had come over for a sleepover, and he had brought his Samsung Galaxy, which he later shattered into many pieces, mind you. And this was all the way back when Payday 2 had just came out. So we were just sitting at my computer, playing on it. He was on his phone. I was on my computer playing Payday 2. And he was like, "Bro, you'll never guess what I just did." And I was curious, so I was like, "Okay, buddy, show me what you just did. I'm curious." He then said that he had sex with one of the students from class, making the girl he banged about 12 years old. Now, I really was not understanding this concept. I didn't even know you could have sex when you were 12. I thought you had to be like 16 to even physically accomplish that. So he then pulls out his Samsung Galaxy and shows me this actual porno, this real porno he filmed between him and this 12-year-old girl. Now, Luca thought this was just like a badass cool thing, but I was really disturbed at this content. It wasn't like he was a teenager even doing this. He was a child. His body was small and frail. There was something very disturbing about watching children be recorded in this way. However, I guess if we're being technical about it, Luca wasn't doing anything wrong. He was just being intimate with another child his age, which technically isn't against the rules, it's just very weird he recorded it, and he started showing it to everybody. The next day at school, I started telling everyone, and I mean everyone. And for the example, I'm gonna make up this girl's name. Let's just pretend her name is Madison. "Guys, you will never guess the cool shit I saw. Luca had Madison's fucking tits on a Samsung Galaxy." Now, word eventually got around, and one of the kids I told this was very disturbed. He was basically like, "That's messed up. He's a kid. He shouldn't have stuff like that on his phone, and he shouldn't be doing that." Now, this got my neurotic 12-year-old brain thinking, "Oh my god, did I witness a crime?" So I started asking other kids about it, and they were all like, "Yeah, dude, that sounds like sexual assault of a child." And I was like, "Oh my god, I just witnessed sexual assault of a child on Luca's Samsung Galaxy." So I started telling everyone I knew, because I was just so annoying. And I was just telling people at this point like a very distorted story because of how many different opinions I had heard. So it went from what it was to Luca literally raped Madison and then made a snuff film on his Samsung Galaxy. Now, this didn't go on much longer because a staff member at school confronted me. Now, I feel bad for those staff members who had to deal with me because I really was a psychopathic child. But they sat me down and I had to explain everything that happened. And then I'll never forget this part. They then called Luca to the office, and I had to awkwardly watch him walk into the principal's office while staring at me so he could be asked if he had indeed raped one of the students and recorded a snuff film on his phone. Things continued to get worse. Somehow my family at home was alerted of this situation, and they were pissed. They took it completely serious. They didn't realize how disturbed I was, and that Luca had really just had sex and recorded it on his phone. They didn't get that. They thought Luca was really a rapist and they wanted to take him down. But they also thought I was a liar. So some of my family members were taking it seriously and trying to get my side of the rape story. And then one of my family members tried to prove I was a liar. It was really a nightmare, and I was confused because I felt like I was in the right and hadn't done absolutely anything wrong at all. It was so horrible, it was just a horrible situation, but then my mom took the initiative to then write a huge letter through text to Luca's mom about this serious situation and how to proceed. And Luca's mom just doesn't know what the fuck is going on. She doesn't know why. She doesn't know that Luca had sex with some girl and recorded it. She doesn't understand how this is out of context. She doesn't know why her son is randomly being accused of rape and child porn. So the next day comes and me and Luca had a showdown. We decided to confront each other. Now this is going to sound very fake and like a story I just made up, but I swear to God this actually happened. I walked out of the hallway and Luca was standing in the middle of this empty hallway with a pencil. And I actually had a pencil too. And he said something to me along the lines of,
"Why are you telling people I raped a girl, Matt?"
And I responded by literally lunging at him with my pencil, and I tried to stab him in the side, but I failed. I couldn't penetrate his skin, and it was just awkward. I really just kind of pressed it up against him. And he retaliated by immediately stabbing me much harder, and he actually penetrated skin a little bit. He stabbed me in the gut. Not all the way, obviously, but he stabbed me a little bit with a pencil, which made me scream. And when I screamed, the teacher came in and was like, "Boys, stop this fight right now!" And we were escorted to the principal's office where we got referrals. And from there, I never really saw Luca ever again. I think his mom told him to stop talking to me, and I can't really say I blame her. And hey, last I checked, Luca has six-pack abs and a gigantic, muscly bodybuilder body and a man bun. He looks like Batman during the early stages of his career. So I'm not really sure what happened to Luca between then and now, but I'm glad to see things are going well for him. Anyway, that's all for today. See ya.